Hey guys, Jen here. I am coming to you from Disney Hollywood Studios, having an awesome Disney day. And I'm going to teach you how to make the most of your Disney day using the new Lightning Lane Multi-Pass, Lightning Lane Single Pass. We're going to cover all of that so you don't have to worry about it and you understand the system. Let's go. I've been coming to Disney World, folks, for about 40 years, and I've been around for all the different iterations of lines, from when it was just standby waiting in lines, to the old paper Fast Passes, to Fast Pass Plus, to Genie Plus. Good riddance on Genie Plus, by the way, and it is different now. It is Lightning Lanes, and we're going to learn about how to use them. You can plan before your trip, which I think is invaluable and amazing, but you need to know how to do it. So let's break it down and talk about it. Now, when you approach most Disney rides, you're going to see two lines. One is the standby entrance, the regular line, with a wait time given. But you'll also see the Lightning Lane. This is the shorter line, where you can skip that longer line and get basically through that wait time a lot quicker, which means you'll be able to enjoy your ride that much sooner. Okay, so the short version that we're going to unwrap in this following video is that Lightning Lanes help you avoid the standby lines, the longer lines at the rides. 2, they do cost money. The prices vary based on date and park. And 3, you book them in your My Disney Experience app on your smartphone. So that's like the really short summary of now what we're going to dive into so that we can break that apart and make that easier for you to understand. Now, you don't need to book Lightning Lanes. If you don't want a Lightning Lane, you don't have to purchase them. You can stand in the standby lines, wait that extra time if you're not in a rush and you don't mind it. But if you're willing to pay just a little bit more money, you can skip that longer line. There are 3 kinds of Lightning Lane services that you can purchase: Lightning Lane Single Pass, Lightning Lane Multi-Pass, and Lightning Lane Premier Pass. The way it works is that you make a reservation for your preferred ride time to get into the Lightning Lane. You book your Lightning Lanes before your trip. For any Lightning Lanes, you're given an hour window to appear for that ride, to show up in line. You can sometimes be about 5 minutes early, about 15 minutes late, but that's any more buffer than that, and it's completely up to the cast members. So let's break those 3 down. The first one is Lightning Lane Single Pass. Now, in each park, there's going to be 1 or 2 super popular rides, maybe the newest ride, maybe just the one that everybody loves the most and it's always popular. That is going to be Single Pass Lightning Lane. This means that in order to get on the short Lightning Lane on that particular ride, you are going to purchase a Lightning Lane just for that ride. It's not good for any other rides. It's not good for anything else. You're just buying a shortcut on that one super popular ride. So that's Lightning Lane Single Pass. The next one we're going to talk about is Lightning Lane Multi-Pass. Lightning Lane Multi-Pass is essentially like a paid version of old Fast Pass Plus. What does that mean? You are going to pay to be able to get to the Lightning Lanes of multiple rides on the same day. How does it work? You get to start out by choosing 3 rides before you even get to your trip. You'll be given a 1-hour time window for each of those 3 rides. You get to pick the times. Work it around your meal plans. Work it around your sleep schedule. Maybe you like to sleep in, like we do. So it's super flexible. You pick the times you want, and each of those rides will give you an hour return window. You book your 3 rides before your trip, but once you get to Disney, as soon as you swipe in for that first ride, guess what? Get your phone out right away and choose your 4th ride, the next ride that you're going to ride. So you can keep stacking rides as the day goes by, of course, based on availability. Now, a few things to keep in mind when it does come to Lightning Lane Multi-Pass. Some rides go faster than others. If you want Jungle Cruise, you gotta book that probably before your vacation. If you have a park hopper ticket, you can use your Lightning Lane Multi-Pass in more than one park on the day that you have that multi-pass booked for. So we've talked about Lightning Lane Single Pass, which you buy individually We just mentioned Lightning Lane Multi-Pass, which you buy for the day and you can add rides as you go. Lightning Lane Single Pass, you pay per ride. With Lightning Lane Multi-Pass, you pay per day. And then there's also another version. This is the Lightning Lane Premier Pass. The Lightning Lane Premier Pass is an insanely expensive option where you get to just ride the Lightning Lane of every ride in the park, one park that whole day, without times. You just walk up and get on the ride. It's kind of like Universal's Express Pass, but it's so much more expensive than that. So if you choose that option, you don't need any strategies. You don't need to do anything. If you have the Lightning Lane Premier Pass, just walk up to the Lightning Lane of any ride in that park and just go anytime. There's no time frames. Those are our 3 kinds of Lightning Lanes. Now, the ones that I suspect you will be using the most, like myself, are the Single Pass and the Multi-Pass. So now that we've introduced what Lightning Lanes are, let's talk about when do you get them? How do I get them? How do I book these Lightning Lanes, Jen? All right, let's talk about that. There are a few layers of details to keep in mind here. If you have a date-based ticket, most tickets that you purchase with your vacation package or individual ticket are date-based. What's not a date-based ticket? An annual pass. That's a different animal. You can book your Lightning Lanes 7 days before your trip if you're an on-site guest staying at a Disney resort, which is a definite benefit to staying on property. Or you can book your Lightning Lanes 3 days out from your trip if you're staying off-site, not on Disney property. Those booking windows open at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You're gonna get your smartphone out, you're gonna go into the My Disney Experience app, and you are going to go choose your Lightning Lanes for the whole trip, for your whole trip. Again, you don't have to book them at all. You can choose a few days of your trip, or you can choose every day of your trip to have Lightning Lanes. It's up to you. It's up to you. But you're going to do it from your smartphone, from the My Disney Experience app. The nice thing is you choose the times. You know the times you're getting before you pay. And you have to pay day to day. So let's say my Disney vacation starts on September 1st. That means on August 25th at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to go into my Disney Experience app and start choosing my Lightning Lanes. The way I'm going to do that is I'm going to choose a date, a park, and what rides I want to do. You do not pay before you have your times chosen and your rides chosen the way you want. There's no ambiguity here, folks. You choose, then you pay. You have to book each day separate. When you're in there, like I said, you choose your rides, you choose your times, and then you pay each day. So I book my Magic Kingdom day, I pay for it, and then I go to another date, I book my Hollywood Studios, my DHS day, pay for that. Boom, boom, boom. The price will vary based on the park and based on the date. So the prices will fluctuate. If it's a super busy time period, it's gonna cost more. Now I wanna also talk about the rides that are available for the Lightning Lane. Most of the parks have a tiered system. I'm gonna put the chart up right now that I created using information from Disney's website. This is the list as of March 2025. It will change. There's one thing that's certain when it comes to Disney, things will change. If you notice, in 3 of these 4 parks at Disney World, they have a tiered system. What does that mean? Before your trip, yes, you get to pick 3 rides. However, you can only pick 1 from group 1. So for example, let's look at Magic Kingdom in this chart. Jungle Cruise, Peter Pan, Space Mountain, and Tiana are all in group 1. So you cannot pick Jungle Cruise and Peter Pan 7 days out. This is our tiered system. If you want to screenshot this so you can have it as a frame of reference, what I'm going to pull up here is a sample itinerary. Now, don't be overwhelmed by this graphic. Do a screenshot if you like as well. This will basically give you an idea of a potential itinerary when you're planning your trip. Have your strategy laid out and your ride priorities chosen before that 7 a.m. mark when it's time to choose. Go right into the rides you want and start booking them. Do not dilly-dally. This is super important, okay? So I did a few some sample ride Lightning Lane itineraries could look like. If you're going to take advantage of both single pass and multi-pass, you can show up in each park each day with 4 rides booked already. So I'm going to zoom in and give an example of this Magic Kingdom day. Here, let me give you a close-up. First thing in the morning, I'm gonna go to Space Mountain. I chose that. If you look down for the multi-pass, I chose Space Mountain, Haunted Mansion, and Pirates. Why? Because this is what I do. This is my choice. This is the choice for Jen and Milosh. I need to get in my childhood nostalgia favorites, which is Haunted Mansion and Pirates. Granted, the difference with this is we would never book for the morning, we just do afternoon. However, I'm using this as an example for you guys. Space Mountain is booked for 9 a.m. so that it's the first thing I can do as soon as I get to the park. I'm gonna swipe into Space Mountain, and then I'm gonna choose another ride from the multi-pass list for later in the day. I made this in a way where there's a space between the Lightning Lane multi-pass Space Mountain. After that, I scheduled Lightning Lane single pass for Tron. Why am I doing this? Because I want to have a multi-pass as my first ride of the day so that I can immediately start booking something for later. Does that make sense? You want to be able to have one of those Lightning Lane passes first thing so that you can immediately choose another ride for later in the day. This is a strategy I highly recommend. Another thing to keep in mind when you're scheduling your Lightning Lanes, they can overlap. You can have overlapping times. Keep in mind, how long is that ride? Is it a super short ride? Is it a longer ride where you need to give yourself more of a time buffer? And how far is it going to take you to walk from ride 1 to ride 2? In this particular example, I'm doing Space Mountain, and then I'm going to walk right next door to Tron. And that's why I have my single pass booked for after Space Mountain. So Space Mountain first, so I can already start snagging my later in the day Lightning Lanes with my multi-pass. Then I have my single pass booked for Tron, which is right next door. And then after that, I'm gonna walk over to the other side of the park and I'm going to do Haunted Mansion and then Pirates. Now the rides you choose are gonna be based on what you wanna do with your family. You need more kids rides, you have height requirements. Make sure you know what the ride is about ahead of time, if it's appropriate for all ages. Are there height requirements? You don't wanna book a ride for your whole family and then realize your children aren't tall enough to ride that ride. Now let's talk about some totally legit, totally legal ways of using the system to your benefit to get what you want. I'm gonna talk about a burner Lightning Lane. Burner Lightning Lane, what the heck is that? So remember how I was talking about Magic Kingdom, as our example when we were talking about our tiers where we have group 1 and then group 2, and you can only choose one ride from group 1. But Jen, I wanna do 2 rides from group 1. Before your trip at that 7-day mark or 3-day mark, depending on where you're staying, what you're gonna do when you're choosing those 3 rides, you're going to choose a Lightning Lane, first available Lightning Lane, for a ride you don't want. You don't care about this ride, you don't want to do this ride, or maybe it's a ride that never has a line and you know you can get on this ride later. For me, I'm going to use the teacups, the Mad Tea Party as an example. I could do that as a kid, but spinning around over and over to me just means a very horrific motion sickness response. I would never go on the teacups. In our situation, we're going to book the Lightning Lane for the teacups for first thing in the morning. And then after that, I'm going to book Jungle Cruise and I'm gonna book Pirates, okay? Because I really want Jungle Cruise and Pirates, but I also want Peter Pan, darn it. You're gonna book the teacups for first thing in the morning. Swipe in for the teacups. You're not gonna even ride it. You're gonna walk away while you have your My Disney Experience app open and you are looking for a Peter Pan time. Now, are you gonna get it immediately for right away? Good, chances are no. It'll be a slightly later in the day, but you never know, folks. You don't know what you're gonna get, but the chances are that you are going to get it. So in this particular instance, you're able to start your day getting 2 from group 1. So that is how to use a burner Lightning Lane to get 2 rides from group 1 that you really wanna do.
Once you swipe in for your first Lightning Lane multi-pass, you can book as many Group 1 rides as you want.
Another thing to keep in mind, just choose Lightning Lanes for the rides that really truly need them. What do I mean by that? There are certain rides, and they have Lightning Lanes, and maybe that ride usually has a 10-minute line in standby all the time, even when things are busy. Don't waste your Lightning Lanes on those rides, folks. How do you know that? You're gonna work with your Disney Specialist travel agent, or you're gonna go to one of the many sites like the Disboards, All Ears, some of these particular websites that I really recommend when it comes to doing your own research. Here's a frame-by-frame screenshot of what you need to do to go in and book those lightning lanes.
Step 1. Click into your My Disney Experience app on your smartphone. Step 2. Choose Lightning Lane Passes, which is located near the top right corner of your screen. Step 3. Choose the kind of lightning lane that you'd like to book: Multi-Pass, Single Pass, or Premier Pass. Step 4. Choose your date. Step 5. Choose your park. And from there, you'll choose your pass and you'll be able to see what the price for that pass is. After the screen, you'll be able to choose your times, which I cannot do right now because I do not have a trip booked in the next week.
Here are some examples of our lightning lane itineraries from our most recent trip in January. You can see how the times overlap a little bit and how they work together. So for example, Rock and Roller Coaster and Twilight Zone, Tower of Terror are right next door to each other. So I have these rides booked really close together because I know within that time frame I can do both of those rides. And then we have Star Tours that's farther away on a different side of the park, so we have a little more time to get over to that ride. Here's an example of what we had booked for Magic Kingdom on one of our days. You're going to see that we're not morning people and we book our lightning lanes for later in the day. That is totally okay. But we've got our Tron single pass lightning lane single pass. And then we have Space Mountain Haunted Mansion and Pirates of the Caribbean as our 3 multi-pass rides. I hope you found this informative and helpful and that it really assists you in planning your lightning lanes on your upcoming Disney trip without the confusion. You're going to have a great time on your Disney trip.
Hey guys, before you forget, would you please like and subscribe to my channel? I would really appreciate it, and it really helps with the algorithm. See you soon.